Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'm wearing a visor because my head almost blew off when I got off the plane, but very excited to be here. When I was coaching for the Buccaneers, we lost a lot of our staff. Some of our coaches went on to become head coaches and whatnot, and I had to hire a couple coaches, and I had a hard time finding a linebacker coach. And I looked around the country. I went to the Combine. I went to the Senior Bowl. And I really had a hard time finding a really good linebacker coach to coach our Hall of Fame weak side linebacker named Derek Brooks. And then one day, Monty Kiffin, my coordinator, walked in. He says, I think you need to meet this kid, Gus Bradley, out of North Dakota State. And I said, North Dakota State. Now, that'll go over well in our locker room with the Buccaneers. But when I met Gus, I couldn't tell you how sharp he was, his enthusiasm and knowledge of the game. We had to have Gus. And then the next year, we got Todd Wash out of North Dakota State. So two of my best coaches that I was able to hire came from here. And then last year, I had a chance to meet Carson Wentz during the quarterback camp series we do at ESPN. And I just can't tell you how impressed I was with him either. And then broadcasting Monday Night Football this year, we had a Jets game against the Colts. And we get to pick a Gruden grinder at the end of every game. And I think I picked Joe Haig out of North Dakota State. So here I am, man. I am excited to meet Coach Kleiman and watch him practice and learn about their operation. It's hard to be successful, and it's really hard to sustain success. That's the one thing I observed quickly as a coach. It's hard to get to the top, and it's really hard to stay there. So with that said, I'm really happy to be here, and I'll answer any questions that I can.
Did Carson Wentz develop into a two-handed monster this season?
Yes, he did. Unfortunately, he's in the same division that my brother's in, but he has improved, and I think the addition of some of those receivers that they got in free agency, and just the fact that he'll be in his second year in that system, he'll be a lot more than a two-handed monster this year.
Visiting with Carson, did that sort of pique your interest a little bit more to, say, hey, I want to check out NDSU and Fargo?
Not to make anybody mad in any other programs, but I do 7 or 8 of these shows every year, and we just don't show up and start talking football. We watch every one of their films. We make cut-ups of every situation, try to learn the offense ourselves so we can have an intelligent, sophisticated football conversation. And I didn't like the offense they ran here. I loved it. The way they huddle, the way they use their roster, the way they run the football, the way they play, and the effort that they play with. I was impressed so much that he got me this job here today as the lead speaker at the NDSU football clinic.
Do you think that success is going to open some doors for other North Dakota State players to maybe get a second look from some coaches?
I think so. I think just what my observation is that this is not a good program. This is a great program. This is a 5-star operation. And I show my sons some of the tapes that I made from North Dakota State. I show them the last 2 or 3 minutes of the Iowa game this year, how they won that game. I think this program, if you're willing to spend the time to investigate it and look at it, study it, you'll want to send your kids here to play, for sure.
Was there something about Wentz that you didn't like from this season that you'd like to see him either get rid of or change or alter?
Philadelphia? You talking about the Eagles season? Well, look, I think it's a tough league because it's such a long season. He got off to such a great start, beating the Cleveland Browns, then he beat the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football, and you know how life is now. You can become a rock star overnight. But the reality is there's going to be some peaks and valleys. I think he ran into a couple buzzsaws, some really good teams after the Steeler game. But he just got to be more consistent with the football. I think he turned it over a couple times. He's got to see some looks a little bit more that he hasn't seen. And I think the supporting cast has to be better. I think they got to do a better job at the playmaking positions, particularly outside, and I think that's why they brought in those receivers to impact the game.
Obviously, NDSU is successful at the FCS level, but what makes their skills translate to the NFL level?
I just think that they're here, they're finishers. I think they come here, a lot of them redshirt as freshmen. They've been in the same program with the same coaches. They get some reps. Repetition is the mother of learning, I always felt. And a lot of these players, these Bison, they come out of here polished. They're versatile guys like Joe Haig. He can play guard or tackle. He's smart. They do a lot of things at the line of scrimmage. This style of football is not for everybody. This is a real commitment, I think, to sophisticated football. They play underneath the center. They're in the shotgun. They do a lot of things, and it takes time to develop those skills. And a lot of these guys, as you know, they graduate, they play 5 years, and they're mature men when they come out of here.
What's the one thing you're looking forward to most talking with the NDSU coaching staff?
I want to see them practice. The big thing is I'm here to support them. I'm here to acknowledge them as good as there is in their field. I really want to just compliment them. A lot of coaches nowadays, they don't get a lot of pats on the back. But I'm here from Tampa, Florida to support the Bison, tell them what I think of their program. And if I can, encourage a couple of their players and coaches just to keep grinding, that's why I'm here today, really.
It's one of the messages that when you go to these football clinics that you give to the high school coaches or to other coaches that are coming in.
Well, the FFCA, our little club here, we're trying to raise money and raise awareness that our game is struggling a little bit. People are taking some shots at it, and we're trying to keep the game strong, encouraging kids to play. What I got from football was the best lessons that I could get in life. I learned work ethic and mental toughness and dedication and sportsmanship. And I don't want us to lose this game. And I think it's the great coaches that teach the sport that are also, I think, being underappreciated a little bit. So I'm trying to encourage them and support the game and encourage kids to play.
Your name is thrown out in a lot of new head coach position rumors. What's keeping you, in the booth working with FFCA?
I'm undefeated. I haven't lost a game in 7 years. That's a big thing. I have a great job. I'm as close to the fire as I've ever been. Get access to things that I never had access to when I was a coach. I get to see teams' facilities, get to interview their players, watch them practice. Players come to my office. I get to see some things at close range without getting the scars that I used to get after some losses. But perhaps one day I'll take another shot at it, but it won't be anytime soon.
Most about coaching?
I miss the journey, the beginning of the season, acquiring players, assembling a staff. I miss the journey from day one to seeing where we can go together as a team, the adversity, obviously the wins, the flight homes, winning on the road. That's what I miss the most. You miss the guys. You miss the players, the relationships that you had. But like I said earlier, I still get an opportunity to stay close to the game.
What was your coaching philosophy?
My coaching philosophy? Do whatever it takes to win. I learned that in Oakland. Al Davis, he used to say, just win, baby. Find a way to adapt to, whatever issues we have. Playing rules change. Your roster is going to change. The injury bug is going to hit you. Players are going to hold out. Find a way to adapt and be consistent and be relentless and do whatever you got to do to win. Compete, man.
One more question, if there's one. How long did it take you to go from saying bison to bison?
Took me a while. Yeah, took me a while. It didn't take long for Carson to correct me on that. The strength of the bison is in the herd. So I was trained very well. I'm happy to be here. Hope to get a chance to spend a little time with all of you. And thanks for supporting the Bison yourselves. Appreciate you guys.